Hey everybody, welcome back for a little more wine experiences with uh, Michael. And this time I have two special guests. On my right I have Darren, and on my left I have lovely Vanaja. And we today are going to do an entirely different mode of tasting from my earlier experiences, in that we are not going to compare a grape from different regions. We are going to compare a wine making style across two disparate regions. So in this case, we are going to start out with the rosé from southern France. There's an area east of Marseille, right on the coast, east of Marseille, that is perhaps the most famous region for rosés in the world. And they make all of their rosés from mourvedre grape. And we anticipate this one. This is a Domaine Tempier. It's called Bandol is the region. 2021. We anticipate this being fantastic. It's not cheap. It's not real expensive, but it's like the upper tier, upper crust of rosés worldwide. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means when we drink it. The comparison we're going to do today is just to another rosé, but this one from California, again from the Anderson Valley, one of my favorite California regions. And this is Domaine Anderson Rosé 2021 as well, but from a different grape. It's from Pinot Noir. Now, the Anderson Valley does regular red Pinot Noir, but they have also been experimenting with Rosé Pinot Noir and white Pinot Noir. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to give the Bandol a taste. We'll talk a little bit about it. I want to hear from Darren a little bit about what a rosé is supposed to be, because here, remember, we talked about expectations, right? We're not just tasting, we are tasting for a purpose, testing hypotheses. What is a experience we're expecting from a rosé? And let's dive in and see what we get. Okay, so we put the rosé in this curved glass so we wouldn't get confused. Cheers.
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 All the way over. Cheers.
Wow, very lovely nose. There's definitely fruit there. They used to say, or they do say, that the Bandol rosés are bone dry, and that doesn't mean there can't be fruit. It just means that there's not that residual sugar, as you may have heard me talk about last time with that Gewürztraminer from Alsace. That had residual sugar. This should have almost no residual sugar, but it can still have fruit. Let's see what this is. Wow, that's very nice.
It's lovely.
It has a tartness. It's a slight tartness, a slight astringency, just a hint of it, but it does have acidity, and there is a little fruit there.
Yeah. When you first taste the wine, you think it's going to be far sweeter than it is.
Yes.
And then as it goes through the entire profile, you get that bone dry kind of tartness that gets the back of your throat.
Yes.
It's like you bit into a sweet orange and then got
That's right.
A Cape gooseberry instead.
There you go. Now, rosés have different reputations all over the world. I think a general characteristic is they're a little more. They're not as serious. Let's put it that way. You go into them thinking you are going to have an ebullient experience. May I say that? Excuse my French. But the point is, it's going to be fun. You think about a pink champagne, right? With a pink champagne, they're not any less delicious. They're just more fun. You go into it thinking you're going to have a little bit lighter experience, and I think this is the same. The profile for a rosé is a warm day with a picnic, right? Isn't that the idea?
I'd say so. And I think it's been a long time, especially in the U.S., for rosé to kind of enjoy its renaissance, as in sneaking away from the horrors of white Zinfandel.
Ah, yes.
It used to be the color was the that's the fun wine, and then people I think
Right.
have rediscovered rosé over the years, and so
That's right. And there was a period where American rosés were like treacle. They were really sweet and just not enjoyable as a meal accompaniment. You might have just had fun with them separate from the meal, but this is meant to be eaten with them or drunk with a meal. And I think, speaking of that, we'll do our quick pairing with some cheese. Uh, any preferences from either of you?
every time I have a rosé, I go with goat cheese as my go-to starting cheese.
Okay,
We
we have that. Let's prepare this for you.
I thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome.
Wow.
How
This
is
very
that?
good.
A good pairing. Okay, it goes well with the wine in
Hey,
particular.
what are you cutting there?
We're doing a pecorino with a little bit of truffle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a truffled pecorino, which is sheep's milk.
I thought it might be some black pepper, but no, it's truffle.
Yeah. And your chèvre has honey, I think. So
It's sweet.
oh, very good. So the acidity of the wine cuts through the cheese. Wow, that is just a great pairing. You probably don't want too strong a cheese, but so we do have a cheddar. Probably won't necessarily go well with the cheddar. Could, but it went very well with the pecorino,
Nope.
and you went well with the
Yes,
chèvre.
I mean, I will say what really knocked it out of the park with that chèvre was the honey,
Yes. Okay.
because this doesn't have any sweetness.
That's
to it,
right,
really,
that's right.
and so that just balances it.
Well, that's a good
I'm
point.
curious about the cheddar though, because one of for me one of the most beautiful pairings between wine and cheese happens to be regular Pinot Noir and a cheddar. So I'm curious to see how a Pinot Noir rosé
So we'll do that.
pairs.
We'll do that next. Yes, you're right. The Bandol with the honeyed chèvre is excellent. And then we did that on a baguette, neutral baguette. Oh, excuse me.
Good stuff.
Okay, yeah. All right, so now we're going to switch to the Domaine Anderson again. We're not comparing grapes; they're completely different grapes. Mourvedre is normally considered an inferior grape, but it shines brightly in the Bandol expression of rosé. So more power to it. Pinot Noir is the finest grape in the world, perhaps, and making it into a rosé is a little risky. Why would you take the greatest grape in the world and not let it show its true color? But let's find out.
Let's find out.
Maybe these Domaine Anderson people know something we don't. All right,
Here we go.
here we
There you
go.
go.
Same year, different region, different grapes, but comparable wine making experience.
I don't know if there's not a whole lot going on in the nose here, but
Correct. Exactly. That's a big departure. Yeah, you can. It's almost like you're smelling a box. There's no fruit, no hint of the grape.
no.
It's very nice, but not remarkable.
And
What's
then
interesting-
Vana, do you like the other one?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's such different styles, right?
Right.
So Bandol it's old school French style. They don't veer too far away from that. This has aspirations. It's interesting how the Bandol starts with this just mouth of fresh ripe fruit,
Mm.
and then it kind of transitions around. This you get all of it in the first sip, and it's not there's not, like you say, the ripe fruit. I can't quite figure out what the taste is, but it's
Well, they after lingering after a second sip, I'm getting a little bit of the grape, but
And that's good with the cheese though.
it probably We'll
yeah, it's definitely
we
gonna
always
be,
give we
definitely
always
gonna be-
let a wine be rescued by cheese.
It almost has, at the very end, This one gets a little, to me, sour.
Yeah.
There's like a sour thing in the back of your tongue.
So we're going to do a very mild cheese with this one. Try it. Would you like one, Darren?
Sure.
Or you want to try the cheddar?
I'm gonna try the cheddar first. Actually, I'm gonna be
Okay.
the Berkeley rebel of the group. And
Yeah.
Let's go for the different cheese.
So, and do you want baguette or cracker?
Let's go with cracker.
Okay. These are the somewhat neutral. Is that Petaluma cracker?
Thank you. Okay. Very curious to see what this does to this. Okay. Here goes the great experiment. Great cheese.
For our mild cheese with a little bit of, it has a little pepper on top. It was the wine gets completely lost.
Yeah.
How's it holding up to the cheddar?
Not well. But it's not bad, but you're right. It just erases.
Yeah.
I mean, Pinot Noir and cheddar together, they literally melt into this unbelievable flavor profile. I don't know how it does it. With this, I got wet cheddar. So you're right. It's going
That's exactly right.
It's going to be a mild cheese at best with this one. I think the Bandol definitely has much more going on the glass, so it stand up to more complex foods too.
This is very nice with this, but it's all cheddar. You're right.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad wine, but it's very Californian. You can tell they're trying to do something with it. Like Californians always have to say, what did the French do? And then we have to do something different. And I'm not sure. I've never had Domaine Anderson. If they make a standard Pinot Noir, I've never had it. So I don't know. But this is like, if I had a party, I would buy a case of it because it's a crowd pleaser.
It's a crowd pleaser, but it is almost too nondescript. I mean, I would say if you're going to err on the side of being bad rather than being.
Yeah, take a risk.
Yeah, this is not memorable. Again, not bad. It just didn't do anything. Back to the Bandol again. You're not gonna like. Not everybody's gonna like this for every occasion, but it's so distinctive and so interesting on its own. Right? I think that's the key. Say something with your wine. And again, we talked about price points. We talked about the European wines. The price point doesn't necessarily dictate great experience or negative experience. But I think in California, it's almost a direct correlation. Cheaper, it's very hard to find a very good cheap wine in California. That's my experience. It's much easier to find a cheap wine in Europe. And I can't put the Bandol in that category because that's a little pricier. But certainly this Domaine Anderson, it's not super cheap, but so it should say more is what I would say.
Are they in the same? Isn't Bandol Tempier? We're talking 40, or is it more?
It's close to 50, yeah.
It's 50 now.
Yeah,
They used to eat. It got popular. What happened is someone named Kermit Lynch
That's right.
discovered it, and so the world discovered it. And I think the price went up. It used to be around, I think, 35, 40, so it must be
Right.
up to 50 now.
Well, it's not available every year. I don't know if you're right. Last year it was not available. 2020 was not available. Could have been the harvest, could have been whatever, but 2021 is available, and this is the first we're drinking it. It's our sort of summer go-to wine, and we're giving you a preview of what you can do this summer. So the 2021 is very good, and again, both wines great. Rosé, you look for a kind of lovely warm evening experience in the Bay Area, maybe a nice warm picnic day experience elsewhere, but this was very satisfying.
I think it was
I like that.
Well done.